Is this an AC/DC themed beer? Well, who knows, but it's called Shoot to Thrill. It's a Southern Hemisphere IPA from Wilde Child Brewing, and this beer is available now in Morrisons. Keep on watching to find out if it's any good. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're reviewing another beer from Morrisons. They just keep coming. This one is from Wilde Child and it's Shoot to Thrill. You may know the AC/DC song, Shoot to Thrill. I don't know if it's anything to do with AC/DC, but it's Southern Hemisphere, and AC/DC are from the Southern Hemisphere, so maybe there is that little connection there. 6% IPA, Southern Hemisphere, what does that mean? Well, that's New Zealand, Australian hops, and it's got Galaxy, which is the big Australian hop, and also the Nelson Sauvin and Mouteka, which are the more New Zealand hops. So I'm really quite excited about this actually, because I love New Zealand hops. I like the Southern Hemisphere. Galaxy is a very good hop, it's used more and more. The one thing I'm worried about is Wilde Child. Now, they're more known, certainly in supermarkets, for their sort of chocolatey stout. So I don't think I've ever had an IPA from them, or a pale ale from them for that matter. But this is from, as I say, in Morrisons, and I think it was £3 or maybe £3.50. I should really take it. I think it was a cheaper one. I think it was £3 actually. But yeah, so let's crack it open, get it in a glass, and see whether it is as good as what I would expect from a New Zealand Southern Hemisphere IPA, or is it going to be a sort of weak supermarket beer? Well, beer in a glass looks pretty good, and actually the aromas are already very, very pungent. So we've got this orange, it's basically orange gold colour. We've got three fingers of head, and it's almost like a sort of beige head. It's not a very white, it's very sort of orangey, it's got an orangey tinge to it. You can see here that it's a bit light at the bottom, but that is really thick for an IPA. I mean, very good IPAs I think are that thick, but this is definitely going to be a thick. There's obviously lots of oats and everything gone into it. Let's see what the aromas are like. Well, I must admit, if it's going to taste as good as it smells, we're on for a cracker here, because this smells amazing. Really juice ripened mango, passion fruit. Oh, lots of sort of citrus fruits, but it's much more sort of stone fruity. Big mango, passion fruit, peach, apricot, a little bit of dankness in there. Smells really inviting though, right? I'm looking forward to this now. Here we go. Cheers, everyone. One more taste. This could soon be my favourite supermarket beer. It is very, very good. It's got a really creamy, velvety body. Really smooth. I like the aromas. There's big hits of mango. Oh, it hits you with a mango, sort of peach, passion fruit. Really juicy. Then there's then you get a bit of lemon coming in, and then you get a little bit of grapefruit. It just sort of, it's a really good journey on this beer. You get big juice up front, then you're sort of enjoying that mouthfeel, and then at the end you get this sort of sharp, zesty bitterness. Orange peel, grapefruit. Oh, it's brilliant. It really is good. I'm not picking out as much of the sort of New Zealand flavours in this. It's definitely more of that Galaxy. I'm not picking up sort of big hits of grape or gooseberry. But actually, the more I drink it, there's that real sharp zestiness there. After you get all that mango and all that sort of passion fruit, orange even, peach, then you're getting this sort of very sharp flavour. And there's a little bit of melon and gooseberry in there, a little bit of grape, but quite a lot of lime. Mouteka, for me, when I think of Mouteka, I always think it's always got a lot of lime in it. But the mouthfeel is amazing. It really is good. I mean, you can see how thick that looks in the glass. It's a really juicy beer. And it's just, as I said, the journey that you go on when you drink it. It sounds a little bit corny, you know. Rocker, we're just drinking beer here. We're not going on any journey. But you get those big, sweet, juicy stone fruits up front. Then you get more of the zestiness of the citrus fruits. So you go from tropical to zesty to a nice sort of piney. No, it's not piney. It's zesty bitterness, I would say. It's more sharp limes, grapefruits, really orange peel. That's the back end of it. But it's a very good, well-rounded, well-balanced beer. And I must admit, as much as I was excited because it was Southern Hemisphere, I wasn't quite excited by Wilde Child because I think, I don't know, I had loads of beers, but I have had their stouts and I think they were all right. But you know, I've got nothing to compare this with. I'm sure I haven't had a pale ale or an IPA from them before. But if this is the sort of standard of their IPAs, bring it on. I think this is up there with the likes of Alpaca by Salt, which is still one of my favourite supermarket beers. And the Northern Monks, they're all good. Transient, Scaffel, the Faith in the Futures, they're all good beers. But this is one of the, this is brilliant. It really is good. There's elements of this that are like Alpaca, actually. That sort of sweet stone fruit, mango, orange. But it never gets too overly dank. It never gets too much of an edge on it. It's just right. But then there's lots more going on. There's all that citrus, the lime and the grapefruit coming in. There's more I'm tasting the melon and gooseberry and grape. It's a very well-balanced beer. And as I said, the mouthfeel, I mean, look at it. You can see the lacing of that glass. It's very frothy. It's very creamy. It's up there. Actually, I'm just looking at it here. There's some sediment there. You can see the sediment in the bottom there. So maybe it's a bit young. I mean, it says here that it's best before the 28th of September. So I've only just recently bought it. But, you know, Wilde Child, they're from Leeds as well, in from Leeds. So Leeds have got a good pedigree of good brewers, you know, Northern Monk. I mean, Salt, it's a little bit further north of Leeds, not really Leeds itself. But, you know, that area is a very good area for breweries. And this is a really cracking beer. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the best supermarket beer you can buy at the moment. Now, you know, that's a big claim. But if you see this in Morrisons, get it. In fact, don't get one can, get a couple. In fact, why don't you just get 4 of them? Because then you only pay for 3 of them. And if it is £3, that's £9 for 4 cans of beer. I mean, that's cracking value. This is, you know, up there with some of the best supermarket beers, and also up there with some of the Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand IPAs. I usually go for a lot of those in the bottle shop, sort of buy every month. But you know, they're usually a lot more than £3. This is a really good beer, so check it out. Let's get some scores though. Okay, the scores are in for Wilde Child Shoot to Thrill, my new favourite beer in the supermarkets. So, you'd expect the scores to be good, and they are going to be good. We'll start with aroma. As soon as I open the can, I mean, this is something that you get with the Polly's and, you know, maybe a Day of Beers and some of the top breweries that when you open the can, before you even put it into the glass, you get all that aroma filling the room. And this is exactly with this one. It's only a 6% IPA, so it's a lower end really for IPA, but there's a lot of very good aromas. And you're getting the mango, you're getting all those sort of stone fruits, you're getting citrus fruits in there, a bit of grapefruit. It just smells really inviting though. I'm giving it 15 for aroma. Appearance. Well, you only think it can get any better. The appearance is cracking. It's a lovely gold colour. We had a nut, you know, you can see the lacing of the glass. It's got a really sort of lovely body and a really sort of creamy top and everything, creamy all the way through really, and you can see that just by looking at it. It's a cracking looking beer. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Flavour. Well, we keep going from good to better. This is a really lovely beer. Big stone fruits up front. Getting all those, you know, a lot of that Galaxy hop that you're getting right on the front end. So you're getting lots of the mango and passion fruit, bit of orange in there, peach. Then it's sort of, just as you think, oh, is that it? And then you get, oh, there's a bit more, there's a bit of citrus. Oh, there's some real sharp lime. There's a little bit of gooseberry in there. It's almost those New Zealand hops are saying, wait for me, Galaxy, we're ready for the party. And they join the party halfway through. And they bring lots of bright zestiness to it. And then on the back end, you're getting more of that lime and you're getting a little bit of sharp grapefruit and also a little bit of orange peel on the back end as well. It's a very good, rounded, robust beer. There's lots going on. There's definitely a front, middle and end to this beer, which I think is very, very good. So I'm giving it 36. As I said, which I haven't said, the mouthfeel is incredible. It's really creamy and velvety. It's up there with the likes of Dayers and Polly's in terms of mouthfeel. Very, very good. So 36 for flavour. Value for money. I really should make more of it. I'm sure this was one of the cheaper ones. I think it was about £3. And obviously, if you buy 4 of those, you're getting it. You get 4 of those for the price of 3. So you're getting 4 beers for £9. That's incredible. That'd be £2.60 odd a can. Cracking value for money. 10 out of 10. And my overall experience, well, as I said at the beginning of this scores, I think this is one of the best supermarket beers you can buy. I can't see anyone who wouldn't like it. Full of juice, low bitterness, really creamy, thick mouthfeel. There's so much going on. I'm getting more of that little bit of tinge of bitterness, and I think it's quite similar. It is very similar in terms of its sort of whole profile a little bit, even though it's got completely different hops in, to the Salt Alpaca, which was my favourite supermarket beer. But this is now, I think, better than it. There's so much going on in this beer. It ticks all the boxes. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, I'm trying to think, well, what is wrong with it? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a little bit more earthiness. As it's warmed up a bit more in the glass, there's a little bit more earthiness there. There's a little bit more of that sort of like dry bitterness really on the back end. You get more of that sort of orange peel on the back end and grapefruit peel. But it really is great when you first drink it, how much brightness and refreshment you get from it. So for my overall experience, I'm giving it 16. Maybe I should have even given it higher than that. But 16, pretty damn good score. And we topped them up. And we've got to be up there with the top. I think that Alpaca was probably a similar sort of level. 87 out of 100. This is really good for a supermarket beer. And from Wilde Child, who, you know, you may know more for their chocolatey stouts than their IPAs, this is definitely one worth trying. So, if you like beer, go to Morrisons and buy it right now, because it is a really good beer. Hope you've enjoyed this. I don't know where we go from this from Morrisons, because, you know, the first couple were good, but this one is another level, I think. So we've got a good few more, and we're going to go to the West Coast as well. We've still got that salt one to have. Oh, what a great time to be alive. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. Please let me know if you've had this beer and you think I'm talking rubbish and it's just an average beer. Maybe I've just hit me at the right time, but I think it's a very good beer. And I think, you know, it's going to be very, very hard for any other beers in the supermarkets to get better than this. But, you know, I could have said that about Salt Alpaca, and then this one came along. So, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you've just come across this and thought, who is this guy talking about supermarket beer saying it's the best thing since sliced bread? Well, it probably is. So, until the next one, you know what you got to do. Keep on rocking.